Hello, Mini Manifestor Tribe. This is Annette Estrada, and I'm dropping gem number three. And the reason why I wanted to kind of drop another gem after last week's submission was because I got some good feedback from people that watched the video, and I had a tribe member kind of request like, hey, why don't you go through the key points a little more just to, really bring it home and relate it for everyone. And overall, I just got some really good feedback about the dark night of the soul and how it's connected to our inner transformation. So, considering the urgency of the message, I didn't want to just drop the dark night of the soul and then, wait for about a week and a half or so. I kind of wanted to deliver some more specific key points to embrace your dark night of the soul, and then to kind of keep a nice pulse point on your inner transformation. And so that is why I am submitting another gem drop, kind of it's a week later basically, but I wanted to bring it all home, because the issue of the dark night of the soul is a really heavy one. It's not just a light breezy topic to discuss and then drop. It really is something that is a part of our daily lives, especially now during this global crisis of the pandemic and all the different COVID strings and what have you. So yeah, I wanted to make sure it was super relevant. So to get to our recap here, the Dark Night of the Soul is basically characterized by psychiatrist Ronald W. Pies as two main things, which is demoralization and despair. I have my cursor here so you can follow along. And it can be directly felt and impacts our own lives, and the meaning to our own lives, especially when there is a shakeup. And it doesn't have to be a big life shakeup. It could be a small shakeup. It can be a medium-sized shakeup or a large one. But definitely when, we're taken aback by life, especially if there is a semi crisis going around or a full on crisis. So that's basically when the dark night of the soul arises. And just to kind of remind you, of the article that I cited, which I will leave a link in the email description. The article Psychiatry and the Dark Night of the Soul. The Dark Night of the Soul is not necessarily something that you can diagnose as a psychiatric issue, but it is something that many people go through, whether they realize it or not. And it is an opportunity for inner transformation. And so I will also leave a link to the gem drop number two, that video, if you want the article, part of the article read aloud to you. And it's no problem, because I read aloud to my students all the time, and my kids, especially when they're younger. But no problem. You can either access the article on your own or watch video two to be reminded of the first key points to these gem drops. And yeah, so what I did was, usually with my key points, though, just to let you know, I usually try not to overwhelm anybody with a plethora of key points. I try to keep it quick and easy to remember, and I try to relate my personal experience to all of these. So I got three key points for gem drop number three here, relating to the dark night of the soul and the light that comes from it. And so I don't know if you remember from video two, but I did discuss the idea of embracing the dark night of the soul, and embracing the dark night of the soul, and pretty much allow yourself to take that journey. And so specifically here, with embracing, key point number one, with embracing the dark night of the soul, something that has really helped me is allowing whatever conflicts or whatever things I am having to question in my own life. I have been letting things just simmer down. And I can't tell you enough how much just letting things just simmer down and revisiting it when I'm in a more balanced position emotionally, mentally, physically. I just kind of like, it's kind of like the back burner in my brain. I just kind of let things just, I put it in the back burner. I let it simmer down. And there have been times when I've needed a day or two, several days to let things simmer down. Sometimes the issue can be so big, it can take weeks, it could take a month, or it could take months. And so there is no set time to embracing the dark night of the soul with regard to, kind of with embracing it, there is no set time. I just said that. But really it's a big thing. It's something that has been triggered from whatever is happening in your life. And so, giving it space, honoring your dark night of the soul with space and time is one of the best things that I have done, which is a big deal for me because I feel like in the past years, I've been showed how much I need to control things. And don't get me wrong, I still like to control things. I totally love to control things, but there are just some things that we can't control and we have to be okay with it. And so I've just been allowing things just to simmer down, and I've found that magically with time and space, I don't know, like a new point of view is where I'm at. A new point of view, solutions come, there's different feelings about whatever the issue is, and it is just, it's magical. So allowing time and space for your whatever issue or crisis or semi-crisis you are wrestling with, just allowing it time and space. Okay, so that's key point number one. Key point number two is also, it's also been a big helpful action for me, which is through the simmering process, staying present. And so what exactly does that even look like? And I add on the spot gratitude and recognition. And I've even alluded to this, or not even alluded, I've actually been very specific about this in my pocketbook with regard to kind of like neutral noticings. Not being like overly positive. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, life is great. I mean, if you are, that's great. And, there are times when our energy does not allow us to get that high energy because we are processing everything that's going around. And there are times where it's okay for us just to be still and to be okay with where we're at in the moment. And sometimes um, that just takes a space where we just need to kind of let things settle, and we don't need to be super positive all the time. It's really all about just recognizing, what's great that's happening. That's number one. So I know in my case, especially, because I work in the classroom, I celebrate all the times when I don't raise my voice. Something as little as that, or even when I'm with my own kids, I celebrate all the times that, we can laugh as a family, or the amount of times we've had joy throughout dinner or throughout the whole day. I mean, it can even be as little as just celebrating the times we have just to sit and just to be still without any frustration. Um, there is another way to be present too, which on my whole journey of life, I read Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now, and being present in the most explicit way where even when you're pouring yourself a cup of coffee, kind of recognizing and being present for each movement of the process, even with something as simple and mundane as pouring a cup of coffee. So, the idea here with being present is okay, I'm grabbing the coffee mug. Great. Now I'm going to grab the coffee cup, pour my coffee in. Great. Add whatever sugar, creamer, what have you. Now I'm stirring it. And now I'm going to take a drink. I take a drink, and you know what? That is yummy. So, that's another way of being present is just, being right next to yourself with every step you take with whatever you're doing. And it really knocks us out of the past. It knocks us out of, thinking about the future. It really gravitates our attention to the here and now. So those are two different ways that I've practiced being in the present moment is neutral recognition or even neutral narration. If you're around people like, hey, I saw you took that paper, and there's no judgment on it. It's not like, oh, I love how you wrote that letter A, or ooh, your cursive, I love how that cursive looks, or oh, please don't do that, that's rotten. So no judgments. It's really all about neutral noticings, neutral recognition, and actual gratitude. That's the version that I've been using lately. But in my journey of being present in the beginning of my I don't know, maybe beginning of my 30s, I didn't I thought I was being present, but there are times where we go on autopilot. So the Eckhart Tolle method, it's not actually, he doesn't, it's not one of his methods, it's just something, it was an example from his book The Power of Now. I practiced that method, and it actually helped me to exercise how being with myself and being next to myself, like all together in that one moment felt like, with something as mundane as sharpening a pencil, pouring a cup of coffee, and what have you. And it really, again, I can't stress enough the power of just noticing even your micro movements when we are handling mundane tasks, because it is during those mundane tasks when it's easy to think about the past. It's easy to think, or fantasize about the future. Um, and it's easy just to kind of, be stuck in those feelings that aren't so elevating. So that present moment energy is really big during the simmering down process. So that's key point number two. And lastly, not only, are we practicing being present each day, and every moment that we can get, but I know at the end of my day, each day or each night, actually, to be specific, I recognize all of the wins or progress, and I track my recognitions in my, it's either a to-do list if you're a to-do list kind of person, or a gratitude journal or a journal. And so I recognize all the little things that we take for granted that have happened during the day. I mean, it could even be as small as it can even be as small as like, oh, I wore my yellow blazer today, and it just, it made me feel so energetic because I usually wear gray clothes, which is true. I've been wearing a lot of dark clothes lately. So when I pop some color into my outfit, it's kind of a big deal for me because I'm acknowledging like I need some different energies around me. But it can be as little as that, or it can be greater than that. Recognizing, how you enjoyed smiling at people, or how you were so organized, or how you recognized you needed to be more organized. But that daily recognition, whether it's in a to-do list or in your gratitude journal or journal, is so key, because every day you are making it a habit to pull yourself out of the energy that kind of brings you down and reminds you of all the things that aren't going well. And you are elevating yourself and reminding yourself of how much more life is going your way, even with the smallest things. And we can't discount the small things because it's the little things that build up to the bigger things. And so, um, and then at the end, tweaking and repeating. So if you feel like, oh, you know what, this worked out well today, I'm going to adjust this and I'm going to see what happens for the rest of the week. And you kind of track that progress and then you repeat it. And I've been religiously documenting all the things that I've been grateful for, all of my recognitions throughout the day for the past 7 months. And I'm truly addicted now. I've always been addicted to journal writing, like ever since middle school, but this is now a part of my daily process. In addition to practicing being present and spotting that gratitude in that moment, or acknowledging what I'm grateful for at that moment, or just offering neutral narrations or recognition at that moment. This has been a daily practice and it's really helped out my mental well-being and my soul's well-being and my physical well-being, because when I'm not feeling healthy in mentally or spiritually, it starts to affect my physical body as well. And we have to acknowledge that everything that's happening on the inside is definitely affecting us on the outside as well. And you can start to see the wear and tear, which is so big, especially now, with the transition between whatever mandates you all are experiencing with vaccines and masks and what have you, and getting tested again. It takes a lot, and it takes a lot on us it takes a lot out of us on every level. So though you can see and feel the wear and tear. And so these are my key points to embracing the dark night of the soul, and to steadily recognize that inner transformation that is so key, that brings back a richer, meaningful way of life for you. And I hope this was helpful. And in our next gem drop, I'll be bringing on a guest or two, depending, to talk about their own journey and their inner transformations. And it's so key to hear what other people are experiencing and how they're dealing with it and how they have evolved as humans. So I hope you enjoyed this short gem drop. And I am so in love with everyone's feedback. Please drop a line. It's so helpful to hear what other tribe members are thinking about. And that's pretty much it. So I'll see you soon.